We look forward to welcoming Sweden as a full member of the alliance based on the agreement I reached last night with President Erdogan and Prime Minister Kristersson. We also addressed Ukraine. Since we last met a year ago at our Madrid summit, NATO allies have delivered unprecedented support to Ukraine with more ammunition, more modern equipment and more training to the Ukrainian forces. Today, allies have agreed a package of 3 elements to bring Ukraine closer to NATO. First, a new multi-year assistance program for Ukraine to enable the transition from Soviet era to NATO standards, training and doctrines, to help rebuild Ukraine's security and defense sector, and to cover critical needs like fuel, demining equipment and medical supplies. Second, a new NATO-Ukraine Council, a forum for crisis consultations and decision-making, where we will meet as equals. And I look forward to having the inaugural meeting of the Council tomorrow with President Zelensky. Third, we reaffirmed that Ukraine will become a member of NATO and agreed to remove the requirement for a membership action plan. This will change Ukraine's membership path from a 2-step process to a 1-step process. We also made clear that we will issue an invitation for Ukraine to join NATO when allies agree and conditions are met. This is a strong package for Ukraine and a clear path towards its membership in NATO. Allies have also approved the most comprehensive defense plans since the end of the Cold War. These are designed to counter the 2 main threats we face, Russia and terrorism. Under our new plans, NATO aims to have 300,000 troops at high readiness, including substantial air and naval power. Robust deterrence and defense requires a robust industrial base. So leaders endorsed the new Defense Production Action Plan. This will accelerate joint procurement, boost interoperability, and generate investment and production capacity. To do all this, we need to invest more in defense. Our latest estimates show that defense expenditure by European allies and Canada will increase by 8.3% in 2023. This is the biggest increase in decades. Since 2014, they will have invested an extra $450 billion in defense. 11 allies now reach or exceed the 2% benchmark, and we expect this number will rise substantially next year. Today, allies made an enduring commitment to invest at least 2% of gross domestic product annually in defense, and to do more urgently to meet their commitments. NATO leaders also addressed China. China is not our adversary, and we should continue to engage. But Beijing's increasing assertiveness affects our security. China is increasingly challenging the rules-based international order, refusing to condemn Russia's war against Ukraine, threatening Taiwan, and carrying out substantial military buildup. China's nuclear modernization is unprecedented in speed and scale, and being carried out with no transparency. Allies agreed to continue working together to protect against China's coercive behavior. And tomorrow, we will meet the leaders of Australia, Japan, New Zealand and South Korea, as well as the European Union, because we are stronger and safer when we stand together. And with that, I'm ready to take a few questions.
We'll start with Washington Post, there in the middle. Yeah.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. Michael Birnbaum from the Washington Post. President Zelensky, of course, issued a tweet in the middle of your talks that criticized the language that you've just agreed to on Ukraine's path toward membership. I was wondering what your thought was when you saw what he was saying about what NATO was agreeing to, and what your message would be for Ukrainians who are disappointed by this language. Thanks a lot.
What allies have agreed today is a strong, united and positive message to Ukraine about enduring support, but also a positive message on the path forward for membership. And this includes this package of practical support to enable full interoperability between Ukrainian armed forces and NATO forces, the establishment of the NATO-Ukraine Council, and then the decision to remove the requirement for a membership action plan, which actually means that instead of 2 steps to become a member, there will now be 1 step. And we also made it clear that the invitation will be issued when conditions are met. Then I would like to add that on top of that, of course, allies are also providing substantial military support, because the most urgent task now is to ensure that Ukraine prevails, because unless Ukraine prevails, there is no membership issue to be discussed at all. And therefore I welcome the military support that the allies have provided now for months, actually starting back in 2014, and then since the full-fledged invasion in February last year, substantially stepping up their support. And just over the last few days, allies have made substantial new announcements. France has announced that they will deliver long-range cruise missiles. Germany just announced a new package with air defense and armored vehicles. And the US made yet another big announcement of more military support. And many other allies have made different types of support, including the establishment of coalition to provide training for F-16 fighter jets. So put together, this is a strong message which sends a positive and united message to Kiev.
We'll go to the Ukrainian news agency in the 3rd row. Yeah.
Dmitry Shkurko, National News Agency of Ukraine here. Thank you for the floor. Question, just follow up my colleague. Can we expect today a final communique on Ukraine, and we can expect it tomorrow? And could you please specify what kind of conditions Ukraine still need to fulfill to initiate the accession procedure and to get an invitation? Thank you.
So we have agreed a communique, and we also agreed a package for Ukraine. That was agreed by the leaders, and I referred the main elements now. The practical support, the political ties with the NATO-Ukraine Council, full interoperability, the removal of the membership action plan, and then, of course, also all the different things that allies are providing bilaterally, including with the new announcements we have heard today and the last few days. I have been in close contact and regular contact, and NATO allies have also been in regular contacts with Ukrainian officials. I've discussed this also with President Zelensky, and I look forward to meet him tonight, and then also to have the inaugural meeting of the NATO Ukraine Council tomorrow, where I will set out the package of the 3 elements bringing Ukraine closer to NATO, and this is a strong package.
Okay, Reuters. Over there. Andrew, maybe you can just ask your question.
Andrew Gray from Reuters, Secretary-General. To come back to President Zelensky's remarks, he said it would be absurd if a time frame is not set neither for invitation nor for Ukraine's membership. How would you respond to that specific point, and why have allies not set out a time frame today?
What we have agreed is a very substantive package with many different elements that helps to move Ukraine closer to NATO, help them to move towards NATO membership. And this is partly a very practical support on, for instance, interoperability, and reforms, defense sector reforms and interoperability are among the conditions which are important for membership. So that's a practical way of moving Ukraine closer to NATO. Then we also send a strong political message with the language on membership, including the language which is now in the communique on invitation. There has never been a stronger message from NATO at any time, both when it comes to the political message on the path forward for membership and the concrete support from NATO allies, military support, but also the practical support on how to ensure full interoperability. And if you look at other membership processes, there have not been time lines for those processes. They are conditions-based, has always been.
Okay, we'll go to the gentleman here in the second row.
Lauri Nurmi, Iltalehti from Finland, Mr. Secretary-General. The Baltic Sea becomes NATO's inland sea. NATO puts 300,000 new troops on high readiness. What does all this mean for frontline countries like Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania and Poland? And what is NATO's message to Mr. Putin and Russia? How historic is this moment? Thank you.
It is historic that both Finland and Sweden will become members of NATO. Finland is already a full member, and with the agreement that President Erdogan and Prime Minister Kristersson and I were able to make last night, Sweden has also become a full member of the alliance. This is historic. It's important for the whole alliance. It's important for Finland. It's important for Sweden. But it is also in particular important for the Baltic region, because when you look at the map, you realize that, for instance, the ability to reinforce the Baltic region is very much improved by the fact that we now have Finland and soon also Sweden as full members. And that will be reflected in our defense plans, in our exercises, in our capability targets and everything else we do as an alliance. So it makes the whole alliance stronger, and it makes especially the Baltic region safer. It sends the message that NATO's door is open. It sends the message that it's for NATO allies to decide on enlargement. It's not for Moscow to deny sovereign nations the sovereign right to choose their own path.